dim the light. Send a blanket to her. Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
He sounds like a big dog wherever he's at.
I think we just found the answer to that.
Yeah, they're here to protect me, so be good.
I hope he's been fed. It sounds like he could be hungry.
There's a pair of them.
I wish. You're in the kenneling business then, huh? No.
No, that's one business I'm not going to get in. I'm at the kennel.
I asked, I thought he responded to all of us. Did he? Probably did. I always have to look at the email because I thought, unless he just sent it to me to talk to about it, he sent me some information, so I thought he included it on it. Maybe that would have been, whatever day you asked me, I forwarded that to him and said, can you help me out with this?
How's fishing? Dean.
That was excellent.
Great.
Excellent. Limited out on walleye, crappie, perch, and bluegill.
Wow.
So we were up in northern Minnesota and then drove down to Webster, South Dakota for a couple days of fishing. So
Oh, good.
it's good. It's very good.
Well, you're different than what my brother-in-law and sister-in-law or sister said. They said it was terrible where they were at.
No, we had very good luck. We got enough fish to, I think, get us through Lent, maybe.
Okay. I think we'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance here.
The flag of the United States of America.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Morning, everybody. Is there any discussion on the agenda for today? If not, I'll look for a motion for approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval of the agenda for today. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposed? Motion carries. All right, we have the minutes.
I would like to add in on the minutes in regard to, we did get a response back from the auditor in regard to that training that Stephanie wanted. And they did say as long as it was a class for education that will help a person in their role as supervisor and not a political group, they think it can be appropriate expenditure. But it also said the County Board of Supervisors should document in the minutes the benefits the county will receive and how it will meet public purpose. And I think, Stephanie, you stated some of them, and I would like to have those added to those minutes. I think that would, just to protect everybody's interest here.
And I'd also like to update the actual amount. In the minutes, it says 2,800, but it will only be 1,400.
At the time of the meeting, it was 2,800. So I think if we just have Gene's comments added, that'd be sufficient. I would like you to explain the $1,400 so, but that was not the case when the minutes were done.
Would you be okay if I just updated the minutes we do for today to reflect?
Yes, yes.
Okay, that'd be fine.
And then you can just use the description on the next second. With those changes, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second that.
Okay, any more discussion on that? If not, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of approval of minutes, say aye.
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 All right.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay, first thing up is Zach, secondary roads. What do you have for us today?
A couple more utility permits. First one is Raccoon Valley Electric. There's a service going across 110th Street, just west of M68, west of Rita. Nothing extraordinary about this one, just getting service across the road. So,
Board correctly?
yes, it is board correct.
You want these done individually?
We can do them together.
Okay.
Yep. There's no questions, I'll move on to the next one. We're Mid-American Energy. Eden, section 6 and 7. It's to basically re-span or re-pole a mile on 290th Street between Hawthorne and Granite. Basically putting in poles back in the right-of-way line the way they are currently. Just getting new poles put in, new line.
Is this where all the power lines hang over the right of way then?
This one really doesn't a whole lot. It's pretty close to the right-of-way line. It's running on the south side of the road there, in right on the fence line.
But don't they usually, when they're doing that, when they put it back in the right of way, aren't they putting the arms totally over the right of way and staying off the private property now?
I think this one's vertical, Gene. I don't think they're hanging over with any arms. It's just vertical. And they'll put it
Okay.
only like two foot from the right-of-way line, and just inside the fence line.
Oh, it doesn't have any arms on. Okay, good enough.
This is a standard regular line.
All right.
Gene, you're most familiar with that. It's close to your place. I don't think you have any problems, so I'll move to approve the Mid-American Energy utility permit.
I think there's another one yet.
That's a drain.
Oh, that's drain. Oh, okay.
Neil, are you making a motion to approve both of them?
Yeah, I'll move to approve the rural electric one as well for Jared Green in section 5 of Wheatland Township.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, any more discussion on the utility permits? All right, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, say aye.
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 And opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. One drain to talk about, drain 15-28. This is Glidden Township, section 28, just east of town, east of Glidden. There went out and found there's a hole in the 28-inch tile line running southeasterly right there, in the southwest quarter of that section. Hopefully it should be an easy fix. I'm assuming it's a joint that's popped loose or a section. Haven't really had many problems with that line in the past, but sure appears that's what's going on. We have not done the work or haven't dug it up or looked at it yet, other than just seeing the hole in the field.
About 15, 20 foot.
It might only
Fix
be,
it.
might only be 5 foot. I mean, it's
That works.
at worst 10, 15 feet. If we come into something more than that, I'll come back to you.
I'll make a motion, we approve the repair on.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the tile repair for the Golden Township Section 28. Call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, motion carries. I did drive by the patchwork. Drove across again yesterday. Did a pretty good job out there. You guys did a good job.
Yeah, they do.
A little more to do yet. I'm not sure if we're gonna get to it this week or not, but we'll hopefully have another 4 or 5 days worth to try to kind of clean things up there. It's not probably everything we need to have done up there, but at least make a dent in some of the bad ones.
So do you think it's the base underneath that? That kind of has given us issues from time to time.
I think that's part of it.
What's the long-term answer then? Rip it out and grind it and put a new base underneath it?
Maybe, eventually. The thing is, there's some stretches that are bad. If we can get most of it patched out eventually, maybe it'd be a solid road and we down and grind on it to smooth it out when that's all done. But time will tell to see if it just keeps showing up, or a lot of these larger loads are really making
Yeah.
impact on the edge of that pavement too.
And that traffic has changed a lot up there in the last 5 or 6 years too.
It's amazing how much traffic comes through there.
Yes, it is.
Rich, what area are you talking at?
It's the road north of Litterdale and then to the north, and then it tees and goes to the east. That's where they were patching. That's always been kind of a rough little devil up through there anyway, but they've got some good patchwork down on it now. We'll see how it holds and kind of guess we'll know more then.
The patchwork ones in the high school are nice too.
Okay, anything else for Zach?
Yeah, I have a question. I see that we, in our payables, there's $249,000 to Stratford gravel. Is some of that been stockpiled, or has that all been spread?
That's for the stuff that was produced up at the Fiddling Pit. So
So we haven't picked it up yet.
we have not. I think we have moved a loader up there. We've hauled just a very small amount out, but very, very little of it. Most of it's still there. So it's
Okay.
material that will probably be hauling down stockpile this winter, and next summer.
Okay, that's all I need to know. Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else for us, Zach?
All
All right, thanks for coming through.
Thank you.
Let me know what you might know.
Thanks, Zach.
Thank you.
Okay, the next thing up are the payables for today, for the 2 weeks, I guess. Any comments, questions?
Perhaps this would be a good place for Stephanie to document that the cost of her training, because it's $1,400 in the payables and it's $2,800 in the minutes. I do have a question on page 4. We have an audit by Grunwald, Bell, and someone else for FY20 for $1,500. What was that audit for?
That is they're asking for some money for the audit they're currently working on for us.
Okay,
They're the ones that are gonna do the county audit for 20, and that is the payment they requested.
the county audit then.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and any other questions? Okay. This is just a kind of a procedural thing for Courtney's benefit. If you guys have any questions, email them to her over the weekend so she can see them on Monday morning, because she's kind of at a disadvantage when you ask questions. She doesn't have the actual bill, she's gotta run upstairs to get it. So if you think of something, that's great that you do and would have a question on, that's wonderful, but just shoot her an email with the subject so she can have it down here so we can move forward without making her traipse up and down. Okay, if not, any more questions? I'll entertain a motion to approve the payables for today.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Call for the vote. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All right.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, the next thing up is discussion, contact tracing contract in a labor position that we've kind of started this last week or so. Dean, do you want to take that and tell me what you know about it?
Well,
Sarah and Carrie are here also too, Dean, so.
okay, well, it kind of goes back to a coalition meeting that we had a couple weeks ago where there was some concern about the IDPH's efforts in contact tracing, that some people are not being contacted very quickly. There's a five-day delay, and they're just not getting the job done. And so after a lot of conversations between the chairman of the Board of Health and myself and Sarah and actually the public health nurse, it was decided to bring the contact tracing back to the county and have it be a local contact tracing. And so with that, it was determined that we would hire somebody in a temporary position to do the contact tracing, and then they could actually, if the contact tracing got to be too much, they could rely on environmental health to support that individual as well as the home care aides. So with that, it's not going back to the public health nurse. The public health nurse is busy now with what they normally do as far as flu clinics and the like. So it was determined that this would probably be the best way to go, and we will put an ad in the, I don't know, Sarah can probably answer where this ad's going to be going, on Facebook or social media or the papers or whatever. But they did put together a application description of the job that's being offered, and I think the template that was used was from St. Anthony, who is actually going to do this themselves. But it was, so that's where we're at. Sarah, can you add anything to that?
No, last night or yesterday, I did a course as to what's coming up next. It's the next thing that this county is gonna be looking at is the SNS, or the POD, point of dispensing event with the max vaccination. So this all ties into what we've talked about before. This is actually a county disaster. So this is considered a county pandemic, a federal pandemic, brought down to each state at the state level and now at the county level. So this is actually a function of Carroll County. And when I was doing the class for the, it's called the national stockpile, that's where we would get the vaccine from, or if anything would happen, like an anthrax outbreak, any of this would happen. It's on the county to do that. In our situation, public health is contracted with the hospital to do what Dean described as their regular duties. But this contact tracing actually really does need to come at the county level because so many, people are saying that it's hard to manage, it's hard to get anybody to think that there was any authority behind this, because it's not coming from the Board of Health. So like Dean and I talked, when the county takes this back, this is gonna be a contact tracer that is calling on behalf of the Board of Health, along with the Board of Supervisors, along with Public Health. And we need people in the county to come together as a county and work through this pandemic. So it's just kind of, I could also see that this person is gonna end up helping with that, because in this class that I did, it said, in the event you have a point of dispensing, the pod, with the national stockpile, the vaccine supply, you're going to have to pull from all of your county partners to get this done. It's gonna take the sheriff's office, it's gonna take other department heads, because we have to have sign up, there's 4 different areas, how this works. The initial, come up, tell us your name, the screening, dispensing, and then the exiting with the directions. So, I mean, what we're doing now is only gonna lead to the next thing that we're looking at to get out of this pandemic. So it's gonna take me working with Carrie, working with public health, working with home care to plow through the next, first of all this, and then the next thing that's coming that our coalition has been talking about, so.
So that's where we're at.
So this position you're anticipating, now, and I hate rather to try to put a number on this, but most likely this person will be with us for 6 months. I would say, at best, probably.
Yeah,
It could be long.
I would have to say that it would be all of 6 months, or until we have 70% of the population either vaccinated or exposed to COVID-19. So whatever that time is. And actually after that, I'm not sure, I don't think anybody really knows what this thing's gonna look like, even when you have the 70%.
Now, Dean, when you were gone last week, and I did reach out to Becky to get some of her thoughts on the application. And she did have a couple of things that she kind of recommended, and Sarah, did you see those?
Yep, and I sent them.
And Courtney has them, so I'm okay with the changes or the highlights that she just wanted to make sure was in there. And if you had a chance to read those, I thought they were
I saw those
very valid and very good. They're good, so I would highly recommend that we consider those to go along with what we have and come up with some type of form from that point.
So are you thinking, Sarah, these would be covered under FEMA then, or?
Yeah, the county's hiring additional contact tracers as part of that 75%. So the hospital would not be able to do that because it has to go at that county level. With that FEMA funding, they're really starting to pull back on other entities using it because they put so much money in the CARES Act to schools in a different fund. They put so much money in the CARES Act to hospitals in a different fund. So they're really wanting those FEMA expenses after September 15th to be at the county level for EMS, public health, which again is not at the county level. We've only contracted so much for them to do at the hospital level. So this is, in my opinion, an expense that belongs at the county level. Because we have school nurses doing a lot of the contact tracing. So this is gonna be a benefit to the 5 school districts that are also messing with this. I know that there were several cases last week that the schools are quarantining the kids on Monday. So let's say a student finds out they're positive over the weekend, but they have not heard anything from Iowa Department of Public Health for 5 days. So they get very angry. These parents are upset because the schools tell them on Monday, but they have no follow-up from a government entity of, I don't know, power or however you wanna say it, telling them this is what you need to do. So that lag of 5 days is really killing us right now.
Yeah, it's almost like after the fact or after the cattle gone through the gate.
Well, and they're getting upset at the school, and I guess the schools are like, we're just playing our part, but they really want that follow-up call to come shortly after the school notifies the families as well, so.
Well, and I think that some of the schools are actually leaning on the public health nurse to do contact tracing as well again. And so you can understand where their frustration is actually coming from.
Yeah, one case yielded 19 different families of contact tracing, and then each family is gonna have a whole tree beyond that. So, I mean, we need public health to be doing the flu shots right now. They're gearing up to get ready for the COVID vaccinations that they're doing. So if they're again able to help. There's 7 people that can help do contact tracing at one time. The state gives out 7 usernames, and I think she told us that 3 or 4 were in play. So the new person could be number 5, and then it still opens it up for 2 more people at the county level to become person 6 and 7 that have access to the contact tracing piece of the state's website. So it's just, if they're gone or we need one person to take the lead of that spreadsheet to kind of know the whole breakdown of how it's going, because they're not even really tracking, okay, was this at this particular school, was this at this particular, it's just community-wide instead of trying to really figure out where it was coming from.
When do you want or anticipate this person to start?
Last week,
Yeah, as soon as possible.
I think the ad should reflect that, maybe, that we're looking for, the few specifics. But once we have a candidate that hits those specifics, I think that the Board of Health should have or whoever, or I guess maybe it's us, to make the decision, we're gonna hire that person and end this search. I don't know if we should have a time on it. The first person that comes along that fits our needs and looks like they should work, should we not hire them? And rather than slow the process down?
what is our minimum posting?
It's gotta be in the papers,
For
all 3 of them,
one time,
at least one time.
at least.
It's gotta be posted here.
But what I'm saying is, we don't need to say, this is due in 30
You say
days.
this
this is-
position is open until.
Until filled.
Something like that. And you're gonna need to have the county attorney draw up a contract. So
Okay.
somebody needs to talk to him
To move it along.
well, yeah, cause that, I mean, if you find somebody and then you contact John.
It's 2 or 3 day
It's gonna take
window.
longer, but if you contact him now,
Yeah.
I can.
So, and the soonest it would be in the paper is Friday.
You want to tell John what we're looking for?
I will.
I'm just in an email and shoot me, copy me in on that. with you. I'll follow up on that.
I'd say as long as she has it in the paper, we can really share it on Facebook. I mean, that seems to be the fastest.
Yeah, and I'll put it, I mean, as soon as I have it ready, I can put it on the county website and we can put it on the county Facebook page
That's the next thing.
right away, even
That's
though, yeah, it's not
Carroll.
gonna be in the paper, but,
Okay.
you know, obviously you'd have to wait to pick somebody until the people that are gonna
We
see
see
it in the
the
paper have an
Correct.
opportunity to do that.
And I'll also mention, and we can report we do it to a radio station. today,
Sure.
too. That'll help spur that along a little bit. And then the newspapers that I'll hit with. Thank you. So,
And I can just kind of tweak these.
does that all make
things
sense, Dean?
To make an ad.
Yep.
Don't do that super detailed, doesn't it?
Contact tracing.
We want to do it correctly, but we want to get them online as soon as we can.
Sometimes less.
Yes.
Sarah, we discussed who the interviewing committee would be on this. Becky, myself, yourself, and probably Sarah Schulte.
I was thinking not necessarily myself, since I knew somebody that was gonna apply for it.
Okay, so the other three?
Yeah, I would just prefer somebody, only because I know of 2 people and I don't want it to be swayed, so.
Sure.
But Becky was fine, so Becky and you, and then just one more person.
What's that?
Yeah, just you three.
Becky and.
Yeah.
no, who's the third?
Sarah
Sarah.
Schulte.
Yeah, I don't know if she has
Yeah.
time.
Is there another person you can think of being you and Becky and somebody else?
Well, I don't think I suppose we could have, I mean, everybody in that field is busy. I mean, we could have Dr. Heim do it as well, you know, or Carrie. Carrie can do it as well. Yep, I don't have any problem with that.
So you, Carrie, and Becky?
Yeah.
That could be.
For sure.
So then we also, where to house the person, we just figured we could house the person in the basement. We could use my desk with computer, phone. The hospital has our coalition laptop that Carl helped us buy, so it's a super souped up $2,500 laptop that should be able to run very quickly. So if the person, the public health said, a lot of times the cases come on Friday. So with Test Iowa testing on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, everything does seem to be delayed when it comes back. Sometimes the people find out too, but then it doesn't show up on that state website to the county for another day. There's usually like, oh, your name didn't show up now until Wednesday, if they found out on Tuesday. So she said that a lot of the contact tracing falls on Friday and it falls on nights and weekends. So if during courthouse hours or, we'll have that person work as much as possible at the courthouse, but then I think we have to have the latitude of them taking the laptop home and being able to work from home. And then communicating with the rest of us if, we got 38 new cases, who can help me with this? You know what I mean? Who wants to take what? With it being nights and weekends. But she said Fridays, they seem to get killed every Friday with 25 to 35 new contacts. And by the time people find out over the weekend and get their list together, a lot of times they don't even get their, these are my people, this is my day until Wednesday, Thursday, Friday either, which puts a lot of the workload on the weekend. So if nobody cares, that was our plan, to put the person in the basement.
Well, I think that sounds ideal myself.
Yep, that sounds good. Either that or the Fricky building I was thinking of, but the basement sounds good if we have room down there.
Well, that way if we're expanding and contracting with me, Carrie, Sherry.
Right.
And just the 4 of us,
You're right next to each other.
we're working together and we can learn from each other, I guess.
Right, so I
So
guess,
I don't really know if this needs action or not. I mean, it's the Board of Health that's moving forward on it, but it's going to be paid by the county. So Courtney, what do you think about that?
I think you wait until you find somebody and that's when you guys make a decision and you do a contract. I mean, it'll be noted in the minutes that we're proceeding with looking for somebody, but I don't think it needs to be a motion.
Okay.
well, everybody on the same page? Any more questions? Sarah, are you leaving to go back to school?
We're gonna go upload a grant in the basement.
Okay, I'll be down after the meeting. I'll
Okay.
ask you about a statement for the radio, so,
Okay.
thank you.
Thanks, Sarah.
Yes, ma'am.
Sarah, Gary.
Thank you.
Okay, the next thing up today for discussion is the service agreement with Raccoon Valley Electric Cooperative. And that's for the district site in Coon Rapids. We've not had power with them, so I assume that this is the standard contract. It's a new service, so this is probably what they do to everybody. And that's Mid-America up there. Okay,
We are a customer of them already, it's just.
it's
this
just a
is new
site.
place.
New
Yeah.
site, yeah. So I guess we need authorization for the chair to sign that contract, the agreement.
I also move.
I'll second.
Okay, any more discussion on that? Okay, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 And opposed? Motion carries.
There's quite a few places to sign, so
Okay.
if you wanna wait.
We'll see if I can run out of ink on that one. The next thing up is the manure management updates for today. First one is Alex Weeder in section 25 of Neast. There's no change. The next one is Henner site, section 1 of Lincoln Township. That is actually in Audubon County. That is a no change. And the last one is MT Pork, section 27 of East. That is a annual update and a crop rotation and updated P indexes. Okay, committee reports. Anybody ready?
I'm ready. Tuesday night, the RSVP was canceled due to not having a quorum. Some other members were unable to attend. Wednesday, we had a very important meeting of Rolling Hills. There's two things in that meeting I want to talk about. One is the fact that Pocahontas and Humboldt County wish to enter our region. We're going to have a special meeting sometime this month and talk to them. Sandy Loney from Humboldt County and Clarence Sipker from Pocahontas County were online, and they talked to us. We just listened to them basically. Since the meeting, I've talked with Dawn Menser, asked what she feels on it. She really hasn't had a lot of time to do a lot of homework on that. So we need to do a lot of work. They do things differently. So right off, they need to understand that if they end up in our region, they're going to have some other things in an employee for the region as opposed to having county employees do their work. If they don't join us, or if we don't allow them to join us, they will probably be assigned to a region. It could be us, it might not be us. So I'm not sure I know how much they have each in their mental health account, but I don't know how much they would be contributing to the district. It can be different the first year, and it was different for Woodbury County. So none of the counties have any problem about it, but we're all sitting on the fence yet because we don't have a lot of information, and we haven't had a lot of time to study what Humboldt and Pocahontas counties do. I think Humboldt County, don't quote me on this, has about 11,000, and Pocahontas County has about 6,000 people. So there, it won't be as big of an undertaking as Woodbury County was, but they'd have to go through the process, and if approved, be approved by each of the board of supervisors, et cetera, et cetera. Do you have any questions you want me to ask? And we haven't set a date yet for this special meeting with Humboldt and Pocahontas County.
Neil, what is their purpose? Why they want to switch?
Well, they're going to get, they're going to become an orphan county because of how other counties are realigning with other districts. So they're going to get assigned by DHS. And they looked at the neighboring, there's 3 different regions they could join. They certainly want to join us. They've been to all the meetings, all the areas. So they want to switch because they're going to become an orphan and they want to control their own destiny as opposed to have DHS assign them as orphan counties, Gene.
Are they currently with the North Central?
I believe that's correct.
Or what's called normally known as the Lincoln Group?
They're with Lincoln Group, County Social Services, I believe it's called CSS, Lincoln Land.
Yeah.
They're with that group right now.
So what you're saying
County.
is, so what you're saying is the counties to the east of them have split off, so that's why they're becoming an orphan county, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I knew there was some of that going on up there.
And Humboldt County, of course, can't join us unless Pocahontas does because it'd be non-contiguous. So they're have joined together in their request. We've got a letter from each of them, I should state, asking to join a region. If you have any other questions concerning them joining us, send those questions to me and I will relay those or ask those at our special meeting that we're going to have sometime in, in August. Are there any other questions right now?
One more question, Neil. They are probably very rural needs like what we are. They don't have anything special outside of the box, did they?
No. And one question I did ask is, what services do you have to offer? What do you offer to the region? And they don't have a lot of services. They each have a good hospital. You're correct in assuming they're each regional areas. They do not have any special needs that we're aware of, but they aren't providing very many services either.
Okay.
Any other questions?
So they're not interested in joining another region for some reason?
They've looked at other regions and they've chosen our region, Dean, because of the way we work together and the way we're managed and that type of thing. So they do have other options, if that's your question.
Yeah.
But we are the option they want to exercise.
Can a region get too big? Can it become too cumbersome to operate efficiently?
Well, I think, isn't that kind of why Lincoln has kind of fallen apart because they were so big?
Yeah, I think that is why they're falling apart, is because they're too big. And yeah, Dean, that is a concern of mine. Is one of my first questions to our CEO is adding a couple more counties. Well, how thin will that spread you? That type of thing. She isn't too worried about that, but it is a concern. Region can get too big. With Woodbury County, we added like a couple 100,000 people. With this addition, if we do accept it, it would add less than 20,000 people.
But a concern that I do have, and I don't know the way the regions are actually set up without looking, but is Webster County going to be the next one to want to join our region? And then we've got Fort Dodge. I guess that would be a concern of mine, I guess.
Yeah, they could ask to join now because they're contiguous with Calhoun County and they have not. Yeah, you're more
And
concerned
Humboldt.
about future
In
growth.
Humboldt County as well.
Didn't Webster County go on their own for this?
No, they're not on their own.
Webster County has been with Lincoln Land.
I thought
I
they-
don't know, there's been some, that's how they were. This map I have isn't not updated. Okay, well, if you have any other questions, email them or call me or something, let me know. So I get all our board's questions asked at our special meeting in October, whenever that is. The other big thing we handled was the CARES Act funding request. We had $1.8 million. We had $1,500 of request, or excuse me, $1,500,000. So we had enough money to approve all the requests, but we only approved 731,000. Some of it was questionable. We set it aside. There was a lot of requests for people that wanted hazard pay or increase of salary for doing this, which we do not think it'll be approvable. So we set that aside, and we had 174,000 we disapproved right off because it wasn't eligible according to the guidelines. So that's what Dawn has been spending a lot of time on. She had a committee of a couple other people and herself that decided on what the amount of requests that would be approved or disapproved or set aside. And quite a bit of it, 644,000 is set aside because it's for loss of revenue or hazard pay. And those are both questionable requests. Okay.
Isn't this where that you got what you approved for new opportunities?
Yeah, new opportunities, in fact, was the largest requestor. They requested $80,000.
They got 65.
But
No,
they
you're right.
were,
It was 80,000, and they were approved that.
they were approved. Yeah, $80,485.
And I want to thank you for that, Neil.
They were totally approved, and they were our biggest request. Okay. Other than that, on Thursday, I was at the Shive Hadry. I attended that per Zoom. And I guess the good news there is they still intend on being closed in by winter time and working inside in winter. And I guess you're all over there, so there's no need in me getting any more detailed on that. This week on Wednesday, we have the special meeting at 3 o'clock, and that's all I have scheduled for this week. End of report, unless there are questions.
Okay, if there's no questions, I'll go next. Tuesday evening, I had a policy council meeting. We went through and reviewed the financial reports. Back up. First Tuesday, I had the Carroll Area Development Corporation board meeting at noon. We approved the financials. We looked at the private investment and the budget on that, and the list will be going out, and they'll have those requests being some requests that's going out here this next short while. We're looking at the board membership for 2020. We're got a lot of board members that are up for re-election, going through that. We talked about the Best of Iowa. They have a target of 100 visits, and they are going to have them done here shortly. And I'm going to have some noise in the background. We got contractors here now. So we went through that. They're having an update on their website. They're doing some things there. They are doing also the Iowa State assessment, and there's a lot of money left out here on COVID yet. Close to $14 million is out there yet, that through Region 12. And so that's that. Then on Tuesday night, I had a policy council meeting. We went through the program report and financials. We only had 143 kids in the Head Start classrooms of the what we're licensed for 247, and that is intentionally and by the blessings of the federals. We're cut back on our students so we can do somewhat of a decent job of social distancing them for COVID. We have 8 in the center-based program right now. Early Head Start, those are all 36 of 36 because those are all done, are home-based, and we do the communicate them through Zoom and stuff like that, social, electronically. We had no health and safety issues. We didn't, one thing, we did get an IMP, a renewal of the grant. They took out some of the reasons for competition, and that is due to this year with the COVID. We think that will, that may change down the road again. The other thing we found out that we will not have to do a program information report with the federals this year due to COVID, but we know that we'll be back next year. The other thing we did do is we approved the carryout for the Carroll Early Head Start Center-based program of $1.5 million, moved it to next fiscal year because that building is being prepared right now. We expect to close out probably in November, and then we'll be utilizing that money because that will be in a different fiscal year. We did approve equipment purchases over $5,000 for the new center-based things, and that was for a range and dishwasher. We did have a little storm damage done down at Prairie with that Draco. And then on Thursday, I had the jail meeting that I went to. I was there again, like Neil said, looks good, like they're gonna have it enclosed for winter. I did go down to on the on-site and walk through the place for the first time. I was very impressed with the amount of work that's being done on it. And once you walk through, and well, Rich came later on, I think it looks like it's very much a realistically goal that they will have that enclosed. Then on Thursday night, had the New Opportunities Board meeting. We went through our annual insurance review, did approve that, approved our financials. We also approved our fiscal year 21 agency budget, which has a 2.5% COLA in it. And that budget amount to $14,780,000. We did approve a property tax exemption for the Prairie property. That's going to be that we purchased down there for our center base program. And also we then approved the notice of federal interest on the Prairie property being a lot of the monies has come from the federal. Chad did give an agency update on COVID. We have a few people that have had family members or something like that have had it, but for the most part, we've been very fortunate up there and been keeping things going and not having any issues. We did approve a community service block grant for $249,000. We also approved designation of additional signatures on the CSBG programs. And then we basically went through all the Head Start stuff that we did, what I reported at the policy council, and then it was also reported that we were granted that $80,000 request from the Rolling Hills. This next week, all I have is on Wednesday, the meeting in regard to the bond sales. Any questions?
I can go next if everybody's done there. On the 14th, I had the Conservation Board meeting. The first thing to discuss on the agenda was the Dorothy Bruning lease at the Hazel Brush. It had been a long time since they looked at that lease, and the family of Dorothy Bruning had requested an increase of $800 for the roughly 30 acres there and a 10-year lease. So it's an increase of a couple dollars an acre. So not much there. The Riverside Trail discussion, there's some bad spots on the Riverside Trail, about 250 acres. They probably have it actually that they were going to redo the concrete on that, and the conservation staff was going to go ahead and take care of that themselves. Great Western Park is going to be reseeded this fall, and that would be about 58 acres. That's in CRP. They talked about the Swan Lake drawdown. There's been discussion about that, and I brought that up before about what is the most efficient and least cost way to be able to draw the lake down. And Ben Wallace will be coming to one of the future meetings to determine how they're going to go ahead and do that. They want to be able to draw it down so that they can improve the fishery there at Swan Lake. Cabin occupancy discussion. There's I don't know if it's because of the COVID situation, but there've been people who have been renting the cabins have been having large gatherings. At the Bison cabin here within the last 30 days, there was a birthday party, which the staff said had in excess of 100 people there. And that's not what that cabin's meant to do. First of all, the septic system can't handle that. It's not what that's designed for. So there are some concerns about that, and I think they're going to be discussing in the future about limiting in the capacity that can be present in that building or either one of those cabins. A maximum of, just for discussion, a maximum of maybe 40 for the north cabin and 20 for the south cabin. I think people are having open houses and stuff like that. They're coming and going, but I don't think they want any more 100 people birthday parties. They're in the process of purchasing a new UTV. The old Kubota that they've got is starting to show some signs of disrepair. A lot of it's starting to nickel and dime them a little bit. They're going to go ahead and trade that Kubota off in a Cub Cadet UTV, or it's a Cub Cadet that's a UTV. It's a Kubota that's the mower. So they're going to trade a mower and a Cub Cadet UTV in for a new UTV. And the cheapest bid on that came from Olson's Outdoor Power, and that was for $11,856. The Van Wall UTV after the trade-in was over $29,000. So East Side Shelter. I don't know if anybody's been out there, but they pretty much have got it framed up, and I don't know what they accomplished this last week, but or in the last 2 weeks, but they probably got a roof on it, I would think, by now. All the rafters were up and everything. It's coming along really well. I'm sure they're going to want to get that so that it's enclosed before winter as well. That's the Conservation Board meeting. I did not have anything more on the week of the 14th. Last week, I did not have any official business, and this week, I guess I've got the bond meeting on Wednesday. So that's it for me.
Dean, is there a emergency coalition on Friday?
I don't have any notice of that, but I'm probably sure there is, I would guess. I did not, there was one on Friday, right? Last Friday?
No, there wasn't.
Oh, there wasn't?
Bi-weekly again.
Okay, I guess I didn't realize that, so. And we had, last 2 weeks, I had all kinds of discussions about the contact tracing and where we were going with that. A lot of emails and a lot of phone conversations, so.
Last week had the jail meeting, and then I did receive quite a few phone calls and emails in regarding to the Manning 2-mile zoning issue. I'm still looking into that. I did request from Courtney to see the comprehensive plan that Region 12 has, not only for the county, but also for Manning, that they came up with in 2007 and then redid it in 2016. So after the meeting, I'm gonna go check into that. Then I did receive some phone calls on some gravel issues around 215th and Phoenix, but I have since talked to Zach in regards to some of the things we found. This week I have the bond hearing on Wednesday at 3, and then potentially the emergency coalition on Friday.
All right. Last week, the only official meeting I had was with Shy Battery and Beatty Construction. Everybody's covered that mostly. My concern was the water issue that we snagged on a rain, the only rain that we did have, that caused us some issues down in the 911 center. And I think we've got kind of a handle on where it's coming from, how to fix it might be the next trick. So that subject may come back up again. I had a lot of phone calls. I did talk to Dean one time earlier in the week. Maybe it was the weekend before. A lot of phone calls, but the ambulance, we have sold the old ambulance. And they came and picked that up last Friday. And then of course, when you do things like that, then other things happen. And we had one break down on us on a transfer in Des Moines this weekend. And it is still down there, and it has some significant issue that I hope we can get solved this week. So we had to have a rental. We had to rent a car in order to get the people home. That's going back today. Carroll is taking it back today. So I'll be in contact with him again the rest of this week, how that's going. The only thing I have coming up this official business is the bond sale on Wednesday, and I believe, if I'm correct, that's 3 o'clock. And that will be hopefully a very successful meeting for us. Hopefully the bond sales in the morning. Okay, Carl, how many people are on? Any questions?
I had 6 and no comments.
6 and no comments. Thank you. Courtney, upcoming meeting on Wednesday and anything else the next Monday? Okay. We'll kind of check, kind of look kind of like it's not a bill. Next Monday is not a bill day, so if we don't have some things pop up, we may do some evasive maneuvers and not have one. So we'll see how it goes. We'll let you know later in the week. Any other comments?
With that, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Neil seconded, he was muted. Okay, with a motion and a second, all those in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposed? Everybody have a safe week.
Neil and the other guys, just to let you know, I see over the weekend here that